how's it going, guys? This is Twister, and today I'm back with another GTA Online video, and in this one we're going to be talking about the import and export DLC, and specifically some things that I definitely think it's got wrong and some things that could definitely be improved. And although I am really enjoying the DLC so far, I think it's been really good, but it's by no means perfect. And now that the DLC's been out for almost a week, I've been playing it a lot, you guys have been playing it a lot, and I've been reading through a lot of your guys' comments on my previous videos, and there's a few stuff that you guys aren't too happy with from this DLC, so I think it's important that we discuss some of those things that could definitely be made better. And one of the main talking points and controversial things straight away is the payouts. Now, a lot of people are thinking the payouts are pretty trash. Personally, I don't think they are terrible, considering how easy it is to steal cars and sell them. I feel like I've been making quite a lot of money from this DLC compared to the CEO crates and the bikers, and I've already made over 3 million just from selling cars, and I only spent less than 2 million on my warehouse, so I've already made the money back from my warehouse and profit on top of that. So personally, I don't feel like it's that bad, but there's definitely some ways that the payouts can be improved. And I think firstly, one of the ways the payouts don't really make sense is how it scales with more expensive cars. So to give you an example, the Felter is a standard range car that you can sell, and you get 30k for standard range cars, and the Felter only costs 145k in game, so selling it for 30k, that's about 20% of the car's actual in-game value. But then comparing that to something like an X80, which is a top range car, and top range cars sold for 80k, the X80 is like a 2.7, 2.8 million supercar, I believe, so only selling it for 80k, which I think off the top of my head is only around 2 or 3% of that car's overall value. It doesn't really make sense if you can see what I'm getting at. So I think having it scale better with more expensive cars, I think is something that could be looked at. And also right now, you don't really get a bonus, you don't get more money for selling multiple cars unless you're doing the collections, which I think is a little bit odd. I think it should work just like the CEO crate. So as you filled up a warehouse with more and more crates, the value of your warehouse would increase more and more. So selling more crates at once would get you a lot more money than selling the same amount of crates but in smaller sales. So right now you can sell 4 top range cars at once, and that'll get you 320k, but you could also sell those same 4 cars one by one and you'd still get 80k for each one, so 320k by the time you've sold all 4 one by one. So I think having a bonus for selling more cars at once will definitely just seem to make more sense. So there's the opportunities to make a lot more money when you're selling multiple cars. So a bit like the way the collections work now, but maybe not just a flat bonus, but then this would also scale up with the collections and the collection bonus as well. So I think it would just be a much better way of doing payouts for selling multiple cars. And then also I think there should be a bonus similar to collections, but a bonus payout for delivering your cars with no damage, because right now you can deliver your cars and get no damage for the full payout, but sometimes you might crash once, you might scratch the car and you'll lose a couple thousand or maybe a couple $100 of its value, but it's really not that much, so you don't get that much more money for delivering the cars with no damage. So I think having like a 10-20k bonus for delivering cars with absolutely no damage, I think again that would be a bit better for the payouts. Now next up, this is something I've spoke about before, and I specifically said this needs improving, but it really doesn't look like it has done. Associate payouts are still pretty garbage. Nobody really wants to be a CEO from the lobbies that I've seen, because the payouts in comparison to what you can earn as a CEO is just basically nothing. Every time I load up into a lobby, there's usually 3 or 4 CEOs for every associate, and I think associate payouts just clearly need improving, if not completely reworking, especially so they can get some of the payout bonuses that I've just talked about previously. Now another thing that I think needs changing, if not completely fixing from this DLC, is the cooldown system for selling cars. This is extremely annoying, and as far as I know, I haven't seen anyone been able to explain exactly how it works, you know, what exactly the cooldown timer is with how many cars you sell and how much they're worth. A few people have said it's 10 minutes for every car you sell, or that it's a flat 20 minutes no matter how many cars you sell or how many cars they're worth. But regardless of how exactly the cooldown timers work and how long they are for each sale, they are incredibly annoying. The cooldown timers themselves actually persist when you're not playing GTA, and something that I found out the other day is when my cooldown timer was at 1 minute, I found a new session just to test this out, and then I went back to my vehicle warehouse and the cooldown timer had gone up from 1 minute to 11 minutes, which is just completely broken. The cooldown system needs changing, if not completely fixing. The cooldown definitely should not persist when you're taking a break from GTA. So when you're offline, the countdown timer should count down. So by the time you go back onto GTA Online, you've got no cooldown timer. And it should definitely not increase when you find a new session. So it's broken and definitely needs fixing in my opinion. Now going back to exporting cars and doing the actual sale missions, at the moment I think the sale missions for exporting cars are pretty much the most basic version of what they could be. It's literally just each associate driving one car to a location, and I think a missed opportunity right here is using the delivery truck, pretty much exactly how it works in the single player mission Pac-Man, where you're delivering the cars up to Paleto Bay for the Devin Western mission. I think having something like that would be pretty cool, and it would also allow you to sell more than 4 cars for each sale. So there's different ways you could go about this, but I thought it'd be pretty cool to possibly have the option to purchase a delivery truck just to use in this sale, maybe up to 2, and I don't know how many cars these trucks hold. I think it's about 6 or 8. So that way, when you've got an organization of 1 CEO and 3 associates, you could have 2 people driving, well, up to 2 people driving 2 delivery trucks, and then that means the other 2 associates could actually be making use of the special vehicles which are added in this DLC, because right now if you've got 4 associates, you may as well just sell 4 cars at once. That means all 4 of your organization will be driving 1 car, and then no one can really make use of the special vehicles or even something like a buzzard. And I feel like the special vehicles were pretty much designed for this exact purpose. Stuff like the ramp buggy, the ruiner, just having that protection and being able to escort some delivery trucks on the selling mission would be so cool. And then even if you've actually bought the Phantom Wedge, you could use that to actually transport the trailer truck with all the cars on it. That would be so cool. But right now there's just really no practical way of making use of special vehicles without selling less vehicles than what you could perhaps do when you've got more associates. So having an option to automatically load perhaps more than 4 cars into a delivery truck, or even something like a Titan, that would be so cool. And then that way you can sell a lot more than just 4 cars at once, and then again make a lot more money from doing that. Now next up, another thing that a lot of people aren't too happy about, and it's how increasingly expensive things get with each new DLC, and specifically the new special vehicles. All of these are really expensive, I guess with the exception of the Wastelander, but the special vehicles like the Ruiner 2000 at 4.5 million, the ramp buggy and Phantom Wedge a couple million each. It is obviously really expensive, and even I haven't actually gotten around to buying any of them yet. And one of the main problems with these is when you actually buy these special vehicles, I think the ramp buggy, the Ruiner 2000, the Phantom Wedge, and maybe one other one, when you buy these to use in free mode, they're underpowered than what they are in the missions. The ramp buggy and the Phantom Wedge have a lot less armor, so you can only smash through a limited number of vehicles before they basically get destroyed. And the Ruiner 2000 only comes with 8 missiles before you actually have to go back to your vehicle warehouse and resupply it with more missiles. So for how much you're paying for the ramp buggy and the Ruiner 2000, the ramp buggy definitely needs to come with a lot more armor, and I think the Ruiner 2000 should come with more missiles as well, because for how much you are paying for those, I definitely think they should be as overpowered as they need to be for that amount of money to bet. That's just my opinion. Another thing that I actually want to touch on in regards to sourcing vehicles and stealing them for the missions, I think these are mostly fine, but I think it would be nice to have the opportunity to steal more than 1 cars, maybe up to 3, because, you know, similar to how it works in the biker resupply missions, when you've got more members in your motorcycle club and you actually start a resupply mission, it gives you the opportunity to steal more than just 1 supplies to deliver back to your warehouse. So I think if you've got more associates when you actually start up a car stealing mission, I think it would be cool to randomly give you the opportunity to steal maybe up to 3 cars, you know, as long as you've got that amount of associates that can drive them back to your warehouse, rather than just stealing cars one by one, because that can take quite a long time and it adds a lot to the grind as well. And then finally, another one of my issues with this DLC is the fact that there were no variation in the vehicle warehouses other than price and location, which basically meant that pretty much everyone bought the cheapest vehicle warehouse, the 1.5 million one, because it was obviously the most sensible option. It's the cheapest one, it's got a decent location, it's in a decent location, and other than its location, it was no different to the other more expensive warehouses, so it was definitely the most sensible option to purchase. But with most people purchasing that specific vehicle warehouse, it means a lot of people have been actually camping outside that vehicle warehouse because they know people are going to be delivering cars back to that one pretty much. So I've seen people camping outside it, getting ready to steal the cars, even placing proximity mines down right at the entrance to the warehouse, which is super annoying. So I think they've definitely screwed up on that by not really having any variation in the warehouses, because let's be honest, it's pretty cheesy just to camp outside a warehouse and wait for someone to come so you can steal their car and deliver it yourself. So I think that's mostly everything that the import and export DLC has got wrong, and a lot of those things definitely could be improved. Let me know some of the things that you guys think the import export DLC got wrong and some things that you would like to see improved. Let me know what you think of this video. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you leave it a like rating, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll hopefully see you all in my next video. See you later, guys.